Have the mortals arrived? I think they're peering inside the void, are they not? Well then, let's give them a nice surprise. Well, greetings, mortals. What is everyone up to right now? I see some nice names in the chat. Is there any that I can snack on? No, Catastra. I don't think so. I think they're here to say hi. Ah, but it'd been fun to do so. Well, there may be another time for that. For now, let's give our Gress a welcome. Welcome to our little spot in the void. We'll be visiting from here. Are y'all a little shy? I'm the one that doesn't bite. Katasha, on the other hand, may. Oh, please let me. That'd be so much fun. Well, I think it's quite an opportunity to actually be able to jump to a realm that doesn't have magic, yet still be able to open a portal here. It's very, very interesting, is it not? I'm curious how that power works on your end there. I'm not sure myself at this point. Well, I am Ragnum, and Katastra is my soul-bound partner. And I suppose it's only fitting for us to have a body that reflects the duality of us. Does it not? Okay. I don't find that comment quite a thing that fits. But that's certainly a thing that is potential. Um, well, getting used to this world and trying to find my way around without some magic tricks, but managing. It's managing for now. Katasha's been having a little bit of fun playing some. What were they called again? You mean video games? Well, yes, those, but which one were you particularly into? Oh, yes, trying to move around in the void is certainly a daunting task. It's not exactly the most fun. Ah, that was it, Frost. Thank you. Yes, she has been very enamored by Overwatch 2. And she's not been the most kind with words when it came to her opponents. But that's fairly typical of her. I, however, have been enamored by this world's plethora of cards. So many different designs, so many different games, and so many different ways to play. Of course, all relying a little bit of calculated luck. I would not be, the one stepping on you. And I doubt you would like Catastra's true form to step on you. Her legs are very sharp, if I may put it lightly. Of course, bearing the mark of a dragon upon my arm, I took an enamoring and it took a liking to the way this realm draws its dragons. Frost, to answer your question, she is a amalgamation of very, very many horrifying aspects in her true form. Spider being one of them. Another part being a scorpion, and then you mix that with condor wings, but those wings are made out of blades, and then she also can control you via. I would not say in spider form she is all that appealing. When she does fully control my body, however, that we now currently share, that is up to the person she looks at and who looks at her. That reference sheet is, I believe, being drawn up. I'm not looking forward to seeing what she looks like that because I'm never around when she has full control of my body. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, learning how to set up something to allow all of you to be able to play with us card game wise was a daunting task, but we were able to manage it. Off of something like this. So, this is our current setup for allowing people to play games with us that require a physical camera. And as I said, I have taken quite a liking to the various forms that you've given dragons in this realm. There have been a lot I have seen. Some very, very powerful, and some questionable, to say the least. Uh, well, not exactly a banish away kind of questionable. For those who are interested in that kind of scenario, that is what I'm referring to. And like I said, it's interesting to see what the mortals of this realm decide to draw. I am not particularly sure what is your fascination with everything and promptly turning them into anime girls, but to each their own in this realm. Is there any questions that any mortals would like to ask me of my journeys throughout the multitude of realms? Considering what I look like now, would not be inaccurate. 2 plus 2, that would be 4. Unless you're in the reverse realm, 2 by 2 would equal -4, and then a another realm in terms of the easiest way I would describe that realm was a unifying realm. They took characters and put them together in very interesting ways in order to form their own ideals. So 2 but 2 in that realm, to them, would be the symbol for a fish. So it's a very interesting standpoint on that. The realms are a very confusing set of topics to those who have not traversed at least more than 2 of them. Each realm is essentially another universe, but also led by its own physics. Every physic is quite odd when it comes to this question because what is up in this realm is kind of forward in the void, and then what is down in this realm is also side to side in the void. The void is an in-between place between all realms. Each realm can be connected via ley lines, and each ley line sometime goes through more than one realm. And that can cause quite a headache. And by quite, I mean head-shatteringly painful. It's not a fun process to try to recover from one of those because you have essentially reoriented yourself in 20 different ways within the span of a second. It's like learning how to walk again. Except you're trying to walk what you thought was right side up, which is now upside down. Who do I hate most in the universe? Well, in this universe, not sure yet, because I just arrived. Hello, Nova. Welcome to our little peer into the void here. In particular realms, there's a few that I am not particularly fond of. Particularly, well, in my original realm, the elders. The elders were not very lenient when it came to the path that I chose. They were very harsh and strict, and in a, in an attempt to rid my knowledge from that realm, the way to do so was to rend me from existence. So I took it to find a way to escape, and I ended up in the void. I floated around for a bit until I learned how to do the process again. Not exactly my mom, more exactly the gods of that realm. They were not happy with the fact that I was trying to pursue one of their messengers to learn all there was that could be learned. So, think motherly or fatherly figure, except they could essentially try to erase you from all of the realms entirely. Except you have to be in the realm to do so. So like I said, I took it to escape. I ended up in a realm where one of the planets was heavily covered in jungle. Very much appreciate Nova. Hopefully we'll see Necrostin here soon. This jungle held a particularly dark secret. This jungle was once home to a civilization that worshipped the void itself. This was one of the original extensions from the Prime Realm. This particular realm was one of the first created after the initial Primal Realm essentially collapsed. It exists, otherwise we would not be around. But it is a barren wasteland. And this civilization worshipped the void because it was one of the only realms to have knowledge of the void. And because of that, I wandered around and found one of their temples. One of those temples, unfortunately this one, or fortunately in my case, I guess, this particular temple housed a different form of a ley line. This ley line did not extend to other realms. Instead, it was a direct access to the void. But it was long shut down. It was a thing that was no longer empowered. But my mark seemingly awoke it, and out from that rift came Catastra. Catastra, of course, did not have a form of her own here. She doesn't have a physical body anywhere outside of the void. The void is her home, for she is a void walker, one of the only beings that can reside in the void for extended periods of time without suffering ill effects. So, I eventually became part of her, and she became a part of me. I was not exactly happy at first. Thrilled would not be a word I would use, nor content. But we worked out our differences. She has had her influence on my physical form, no matter whatever's happened. That being shown in my eyes, well, eye specifically, my left eye, and my arm. Welcome back, Frost. Even unsure is not even a proper word for me. Like I said, I wasn't exactly happy. I didn't. I thought I didn't need anyone to be with me. And I certainly didn't want some unknown creature from who knows where at the time to infest my body. Hey! Oh, Catastra, you know we've moved past that. We are fine now. Everything is fine on that. I hope. But the void has taken its effects on me regardless, but Catastra has been able to contain and withhold it within me. An imp? What are you particularly referencing there, Frost? Simp? Uh, I am still utterly baffled. I am unfamiliar with that. I'm unfamiliar with all of that. I am unsure how to react to that one. I really don't know. That is a new one in my books here. Oh, thank you for the follow. Dragon D's nuts. Oh, of course. The fable D's nuts joke that I have seen so often while perusing through this vast array of knowledge. How is it that this realm has such a connected world, yet is so completely disjointed? Well, Frost, considering the fact that Katastra has pulled that off on me because of the interactions that she has had, it's not too difficult to hear that. But we've not had anyone use simp on that. I do not know who the Legend 27 is on that either. So, this is our current form. We're hoping to evolve over time here and slowly gain more interesting things to work with. Hmm. Bonks are a thing you do to someone's head, correct? What are bonks particularly used for? Ah, branded. Such a interesting concept for a deck. For that game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Down bad. What do you mean by down bad? Isn't that another word for horny? It's another word for horny, isn't it? I swear to God, Katastra, where do you learn these things? I use the internet more than you do. That's fair, but again, what have you been searching up to find all of these things? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, I can certainly see that this will be an interesting time in this realm. We'll hopefully be seeing more and more people join us in whatever happens. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is Hmm. I feel like I've heard that name before. Isn't that one platforming game that you play as this odd bug-like creature? Or you fight bug-like creatures? I'm not familiar with the details. I am both incorrect? Both of those are correct? That is good to know. Hollow Knight does seem like an interesting universe to look at in terms of games. I am not particularly good at platformers. I much prefer the strategic placements of games. I prefer very much tabletop games myself. Katastra, on the other hand, as I've already mentioned, she much prefers the video side of gaming. Die more often to enemies. That sounds like an absolute weakness of mine for that one. I am not much of a fighter on that stance. Katastra has been trying to teach me how to play games that require a more fast paced mindset instead of being able to take time and think towards your moves. Oh, come now, Katastra. Are you referring to yourself? I'm referring to both of us at this point. Oh no, do not mention Elder Ring. I've seen some of those videos. Isn't it fun to watch people die over and over and over again? No. That's perfectly fine, Azaro. Blend smoothies. In terms of actual consumption, she... Welcome, Wolfie. Thank you for looking into the void and following us. For actual consumption of smoothies, she can make a few, but they're not for mortals per se. They're more towards creatures that like to eat other creatures. And will it turn into blood? That is somewhat answered by the first question. She does like to puppet some people. Uh, I never said I would let her step on you. I said Katasha would be the one to, but I would not recommend it. Blending smoothies, it depends on which standpoint you're looking at there for Frost. Uh, for blending smoothies, you're making a drink, typically using a combination of fruit, sugar, and some water occasionally. Maybe some salt. Depends on what kind of smoothie you're making and what your taste palette is like. In terms of what Katasha does, she turns a human being such as yourself into a pile of mush within about 2 seconds. So she turns you into a meat smoothie. Hence why I said that she can make a few. Voidwalkers don't have a particular shape to hold by themselves. They are both solid, yet also a sort of colloidal liquid form. On one hand, she could look like a harmless blob. On the other hand, like I said, she can look like a unholy abomination of a numerous number of creatures thrown throughout from numerous realms, and that is usually her preferred form. She has taken a liking to shapeshifting in my body, which has been interesting to say the least because I typically black out for that. Solaris Cosmosis. We have not particularly heard of that term. We have not. Do tell more. Them, not a term. Interesting. No, we've still not heard of them either.
Are they fun to mess with? Are they tasty?
I don't think that second question is relevant to this catastrophe. We are trying to make friends here. We don't want to move out like the last realm we were in. Ah, it's your soul's true name. Yes, well, Nova, if you do come from the void, you are aware that the void is insanely vast. It stretches from here to there to beyond there, back and forth. There is no time, no space, no relativity. Frost, I would not encourage that with Catastra. I would not. She will actually try to eat you. She will try to eat you. She already threatened that once when we were trying to announce. Ah. Yes, the void is honestly just a curious place. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to study it because there is both things to study in terms of theories and concepts, but also there is nothing to study either. Owning a plethora of items is interesting. Catastra is a Voidwalker among Voidwalkers, and she's only appeared very, very rarely throughout history and only within the realms that have a connection to the primal realm. Well, direct connection to the primal realm. For everything has stemmed from the primal realm, as I said. It's just a barren wasteland now, so not a fun place to visit. Unless you like looking out across endless and endless pools of lava, rock, fire, more lava. Uh, Having a connection to the primal realm is beneficial, but also not beneficial in some ways. Battle Spirits. Isn't that another card game? Hello, Wolfie. How are you? Ah, thank you, Frost. Okay, it is another card game. Well, I certainly hope to come across this card game one day and enjoy it a bit. We'll see how it goes, though. There's just a multitude of things I need to learn here before too much can continue.
You need to learn how to have more fun.
And what kind of fun are you referring to there, Catastra? Duel Masters. I am not particularly sure I've heard of that one. It's LP and Agripane. Hmm. They're doing well, of sorts, in another realm. They're no longer part of the that particular realm. And I am aware that they have been repainted in this world and have also subsequently been banished. Fun duo. If you didn't want to, you know, die in that area. Uh, Considering the things I've researched, I don't think it's a healthy time for them to come back here. In their own realm, I wish them the best of luck in repairing it. Their realm is not in the best of places. And by not in the best of places, I mean a continent is split in half. So, not exactly a thing you would want for a planet.
Hey, isn't that more souls to eat, though?
Catastra, we promised we would mourn their lost brethren.
I didn't mention anything about them.
I guess that's fair. The dragon rulers. From what I've read on the ban list, at least one of them can come back. Spellbook of Judgment was a mistake in that world. That was an absolute mistake. That should not be a thing that existed in that world. That world has had a lot of turmoil over those tomes. Ah, understood, Nova. Always anime girls causing a problem in this realm. I've seen a lot of things happen because of, how should I say, less than civil debates over those types of drawings.
He doesn't want to say it. But some of them are kind of cute.
Okay, Catastra. You keep it to yourself on this one. Do those sirens like to mill from the top of your deck and like to gamble? Are they the gambling type? Are they the gambling type, Frost and Sofke? Do they like to run it, run the wheel, and mill constantly? Oh, come now. Not everything related to gambling is bad. There's a reason why I play card games. And, of course, I take my chances with certain fights. Katastra is a, well, more head first approach. But it's certainly a thing that she'll eventually curb in this realm. I hope.
No promises.
Gambling can have a good benefit, and it also cannot. Ah, I see you're referring to another banished from that world. Yes, poor Nightmare Mermaid. Ah, this one's for you, Katastra. What's the weirdest thing you encountered while void walking?
Well, honestly, there's nothing particularly weird, to me at least. I think something that would be subjective to you on that to be weird is, well, something that would probably get us kicked off this little site. So, I'll keep it to myself.
At least you have the grace for that, Katastra. And I know what you're referring to on that one. You forced me to look at it.
You can't say you didn't have fun, though.
No, we're not encouraging that. We are not encouraging that. So, we're hoping that one day Katastra can figure out how to have a physical body of her own in this realm, but in the meantime, she still shares it with me. And it's not exactly the most fun, because Katastra has kinda absorbed some interesting species to say the least, and that has definitely affected her personality. Strongest enemy I defeated alone. Well, trying to compare the different power levels across realms here. Honestly, I think strongest enemy I've defeated alone was just a simple wyvern. These wyverns were kind of a plague upon this one town in another realm. And when one died, another would take its place. Turns out, they were all just babies. And they just kept claiming the same territory when one of their brothers died. How was it fixed? I blew up the nest. And then strongest enemy I can only defeat with Katastra's power. That's a hard question because I've never tapped into her power. I'm not sure what would happen if my magic mixed with hers. Because my magic comes from a realm that is closer to the primal realm, and her power resides from, well, everything surrounding the realms, essentially. It could be an absolute powerhouse, or it could end up erasing us from existence because it should not exist. And we're not willing to chance that. And Katastra is like Ben from Ben 10. Uh, Not quite. She doesn't transform into the beings, but she does eat said beings, and part of the personalities and occasionally some of the powers can leak over to her. In terms of all the different species that she's eaten prior, she's eaten a dragon, a scorpion, a spider, and keep in mind that these are ginormous ones because, well, different realms have different sizes for every living thing. She's also eaten a being made out of blades, and she's also eaten a forest spirit. She's eaten a few other things, and she's unfortunately for me eaten a succubus. That is not a fun time to listen to.
He's lying.
Catastra, we're not encouraging this. We're not encouraging this.
Why not? Both of us can exist simultaneously in our little mindscape here.
Catastra, do not give them ideas. And to answer your question, Nova, my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monster has to be either Borwen Dragon or Rocket Tracer. Borwen for his immense strength and the interesting detailing that they added to him. And then for Rocket Tracer for, well, it's just a card that I love the design of. It's probably my favorite design I've seen for a while. I don't think there's a good idea for Katasha to transform into the being she eats, but that could be a power that she gets from a different creature if we ever find one on our journeys. I'm kind of immortal for the most part, Frost, to be honest with you. My main power is being able to jump between realm and realm. I can find ley lines, or heck, if I have enough energy for that day, forge my own ley line temporarily. It is only a temporary matter, though. And that's why I can do stuff like this. This is technically a ley line of sorts. It's heavily, heavily modified, but the concept is similar. Thanks to the modifications, though, I don't have to exert as much effort to maintain this. I say eating to put it lightly, Soph K. I do not want to invoke the wrath of whatever controls the site that we are on. I would not wish to invoke their wrath in trying to describe what happens when Katastra eats those she wants to eat. Well, as I said, my main ability is to realm jump, but I'm slowly learning other little tricks. I can actually empower my cards with essentially miniature ley lines to other realms and draw from that realm's power, essentially. And it allows me to essentially use cards as weapons. These cards can just vary from simply being able to blast extremely, extremely cold winds to freeze someone on contact, or absolutely incinerate an entire city block. Just depends on which realm I tap into. And of course, in the heat of the moment, I kind of let the ley line jump by chance. So occasionally, the card ends up being a dud, but I have plenty to work with. There's some very creative ways you can use ley lines and portals. Very creative ways. a lot of things can be imbued with ley lines actually and create protection for yourself or and create a new weapon. Of course, this was the knowledge that they wanted to wipe away from my realm. They didn't want people to have the ability to forge ley lines and use it as a method to kill others. It had thought to be lost time, but there was at least one tome left around, and I was able to find it, and now I'm subsequently here. And before anyone asks, yes, I do miss home. I do miss it indeed. Uh, Erasing memories is not as easy as you think it is. So their easier solution to try to prevent my knowledge from being around that realm was to erase me from existence. And that was the elders' decision, and that's why I furiously studied before the elders had been able to find my exact location, and I was able to jump out of the realm. And as I said, it was a very hasty jump. So I did not exactly have a fun time arriving to my next location before I met Catastra. Again, though, it's a thing that happened, and now I'm here, learning more stuff, because knowledge will always be a benefit to those who wield it correctly. And of course, to those who deny it, it becomes their detriment. Denying knowledge is baffling to me, but I've seen some people do it. So we shall see where those people end up, and we shall see where I end up, along with Catastra in tow as well.
Why do you call it like that?
To be fair, you are still just inside of my body. Well, we decided to partner up because Catastra needed essentially an easier ride to other realms, and she provides me protection from the void in the case that I have to jump to the void instead of to another realm, because I cannot forge a ley line to the closest realm, which could be God knows how long, or far, or close, or upside down. Who knows where that ley line may lie or go. And in forging one, again, who knows where that goes if I do it incorrectly or do quickly. So if I end up in the void, Catastra makes it so that I'm protected. So we each have our own benefits, and we each have our own ideals in life. But as long as I keep jumping through realms to gain knowledge, she has a free ride to keep getting stronger and getting more beings, abilities, and unfortunately, occasionally, their personality traits with her. She's hoping to be able to make the void not just a unknown, unliving concept. She hopes to make it something that's actually good. But of course, that does require lots of sacrifice. And it's not like I had a choice in the first place, initially. So, it was either Catastra took over my body eventually one day, or we worked out a mutual goal. And we are hitting that goal quite well. We've been traveling for many, many, many times now. There's no years, There's no minutes. There's no months. There's always a potential, but we're not entirely sure. As I said, she has absorbed the succubus before, and that has led to her more promiscuous activities.
Especially in our minds.
Shut up, Catastra. We're not doing this. We're not encouraging this. We're not doing this. It's it's what this realm calls a succubus, and their realm calls, well, another mortal, because their realm is comprised of succubuses from this realm occasionally calls to. They are also beings that can occasionally hop ley lines, but it requires both parties from both realms to coincide on one singular goal. And it's not an easy task, but it's possible for them because of that reason. She's not exactly a thing you want to mess with, unless you are that kind of person. But regardless, she has absorbed that kind of creature, and she now has those thoughts. I am trying to learn how to get her not to do those thoughts, but we're working on it, to put it lightly.
Working on it on the mindscape.
Oh my god, Catastra, can we not today? You'll find one of us more talkative than the other occasionally, depending on what the activity of the day is. If we're playing a card game, it's more likely than not that I'm going to be around to talk and play around with everyone. Pity is in her vocabulary, but not in her intentions. I cannot tell you how many times I have actually seen a few clips where she decided to absolutely go overkill for no reason. Wins the game in the end, but at that initial point, no reason to do so. So, not entirely sure what else is going on. But yeah. I am Ragnum, and she's Catastra. We are Shadow Spectre. You'll find us somewhere in the shadows. Maybe behind yours. Maybe behind the building. The void encompasses everywhere, but also nowhere, because it does not exist at the same time. Shadows of War. Interesting. We have been traveling for a very long time, as I said, though. As I said, there's no months, no years, no nothing. We have no sense of time. We don't even know our ages anymore. Catastra, I don't even think had an age to begin with. Realm, time flows differently. Ah, Mirror Realm to Lord of the Rings. Interesting. Yes. It's hard to find what goes on with me or her at this point for time. We've lost track of it so easily. So, we're hoping that this will be a nice resting point for us and at least get us some time. Okay, considering from the things I've seen and Katasha has seen, calling this my first year might be a poor choice of words. In comparison to this world, I guess I guess you would say somewhere early mid 20s in terms of appearance for me. For Catastra, once again, her true form is sort of immemorial, but I'm not going to get into what I look like because I'm not entirely sure what I look like when she's fully in control, but we'll see what happens from there. There are many talents to be learning in this realm, and I'm very excited to see who grows and who shares. Because, of course, not being able to share your great talent is depriving those who might want to learn of the knowledge they need to improve themselves. And of course, it might mean they would not be able to one day help improve you. It's always been a thing with me. Find knowledge and take your chances with that knowledge, no matter how much it might hurt. Hello, Nemesis. Thank you. This is actually... Our form is a little odd at times. How is... What per se, Nemesis? We are unfamiliar with some lingo, as people have told us. We are unfamiliar with some of your vocabulary in this world. Ah, how are you doing? We are doing fine. We're appearing from our little place in the void, and we're meeting quite a numerous number of people here. Very excited and very happy to meet you all. And Catastra is also very, very interested in saying hi to anyone else who comes by.
In more than one way.
We're not encouraging this, Catastra. Please relax.
Oh, fine.
We are learning, to say the least, but as I said, we are doing fine. It's certainly a place to be around. This place has been very interesting to us, and we are excited to see what other little knowledge bits and little bits of entertainment it holds for us. We are very excited to see everything that goes on, and we hope that we can at least be some form of entertainment as you all are to us. Not quite yet. Our form is hastily malfunctioning at times. We're still trying to get our form to cooperate in this realm. It's like learning to walk, except you're learning the difference between upside down, right side up, while trying to take a step right, but you end up going step left. Then you try to go forward, and you end up right anyway. Realm jumping is hard. It's very hard. We are struggling to understand how to make our body perform correctly in this realm, but we'll get it to cooperate soon. I hope. At least in our mindscape, it works well enough.
Wouldn't you know that, Ragnum?
Catastra, what did I say? Get into some crazy mage's lair. Ah, yes. Those are always fun times when you have to try to explain to whatever familiar that you have now slain the master of because he went a little bit ballistic. That's never fun. That is never fun. Conversation always goes, oh, I killed your master. Why'd you do that? Because he was trying to kill me. But he's old. Okay, but he's trying to kill me. I'm gonna kill you now. Oh boy, we're doing this again. Rinse and repeat across every single time you've done it. It's never fun. Never fun. Well, at least for me. Catastra gets a kick out of it. I cannot tell you how many of them, those familiars, Catastra has eaten, to put it lightly. Catastra definitely eats a lot. I sometimes wonder where it all goes, considering it comes back to me in the end. Another question to find out for the future. Would not surprise me if a Void Walker's stomach is essentially another Void. Although where that Void is actually becoming is another question entirely, considering the Void surrounds all realms, so it exists, and it is possible to exist in the Void, but because there's no way to actually study it, because there's nothing there, it also doesn't exist, because Void means nothing. Hello, kitten. Welcome to the stream. This is very much a process of getting used to. Trying to find everything. But we will be trying to share our journeys. You just woke up? Yeah. Sounds about right. This world's time operates on a 24-hour basis, I believe. So, makes me curious. How does one accomplish so much within what seems like a very arbitrarily small number? Aside from being very tired, kitten, how are you feeling? And if you say in pain, that is to be expected at this point on a lot of people's ends. So everything just kind of starts falling into place here. We'll be moving around and we'll see where everything takes us at this point. I don't know. Literally, the first thing I did was open a stream notification. I mean, perfectly fair on that, kitten. Perfectly fair. You know, being able to follow along is much appreciated. So, You've been awake for about a minute. Well, yeah, that's a thing that will happen, I assume. Where is everyone else headed is the question. Is a good thing to know. Not entirely sure where people plan on going, and we'll see what we're going to go to next on our journey. Our journey is a odd one to say the least here. We're hoping to see more and more faces appear for us. And we're hoping that everything continues on and forward. There's feel free to follow all the social medias that should be linked down below. And there's a Discord server where you can interact with me much more directly. And we're hoping to provide some form of content or creation for everyone to enjoy towards whatever avenue would be fun for that day for us. Again, it depends on who wants to be in control of that day. If it's me, we're probably going to just be relaxing with some more chill games such as Minecraft or Terraria and play some card games. Of course, we'll be hosting tournaments for everyone. And if it's Catastra who's playing in charge that day, she'll most likely be using me as a conduit as usual and be playing some kind of intense shooter or some other intense game that is going to be determined at a later point. We're hoping everything will be going well for everyone. Does anyone else have some questions for either of us? Feel free to ask. I think. But yes, there is a plethora of things for us to find throughout the time of us being here. Again, we are hoping to see and have many of y'all join us along our journey. Well then, I think it's time for us to close our ley line for now. I am getting very, very tired from maintaining this ley line. We hope to see you all the next time I am able to open a ley line. And we certainly hope that everyone has a good day, night, afternoon, whatever part of the world you are in. Everyone, have a good time. Live your life. And of course, take your chances, because who knows when that chance will show up again, if ever. Farewell, my shadlings. We will see you once again very soon.